Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. So it's turkey processing day, so just a forewarning. Things may get a little graphic. We won't show the dispatch or anything like that, but I know some folks are bothered by that, so go ahead and feel free to cut it off now. But we do raise our own Thanksgiving turkeys every year. We have for the last 3 or 4 years, and yeah, so they're big enough. It's time for them to go. To raise them so we would have a fresh turkey on Thanksgiving, but due to some things we decided to do them early this year, and we'll just have a frozen farm turkey for Thanksgiving this year. So anyways guys, hope you learn a little something from this video today. Just kind of want to show you how we do it.
Yeah. These turkeys go about like a chicken. Just dunk them until you can pull some feathers out, and we got the water set at 145. I always forget just how big turkeys get. Try something here. I'm gonna cut the legs off and their head off and then pluck them, because my feet keep getting caught up.
Mom, you're gonna help us cut them up.
Now. Oh, that worked a whole lot better. Golly. Man, that worked a whole lot better.
Alright, I'm going to give y'all a quick walkthrough tutorial on what to do with this step right here. This is all just kind of trial and error, and I'll tell you the best learning is hands-on learning. So if there's a farm near you that does this and don't mind teaching people, go try it for yourself. Because that's where
there's their leg bone.
That's where I learned the most, was just doing it.
And that's their leg bone.
Yep.
2 of their leg bones.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is get this neck off. I need something better to cut it with, but that's what I got with me right now. So.
And we don't cut their legs off.
So then it's a little different than a chicken. You don't have to cut this right here. Their neck hole is big enough. If you've seen me do my chickens, but you just kind of reach up in there, you get that crop away from the skin. And turkeys, just in my experience, or our experience, it don't matter if you hold feed at night or not, they still find something to eat. So unless you just completely take them off their pasture, you're just gonna have to carefully cut this off, because it's gonna have something in it. The chickens, you can just not feed them the night before and it'll be empty, the meat chickens, but these turkeys ain't like that.
And their butts are good.
So I've got that detached, and I'm just gonna make sure there's nothing in that tube before I cut that off. There's your windpipe. You want to make sure all that's let go. There's a little membrane holding all that, and just get all that loose. Flip it to the back side.
And you gotta give me a heart.
Turkey skin, I've noticed, is a little, you see there, a little tougher than chicken skin. So this part's a little harder to cut because you can't pinch it. You just have to be very gentle not to cut none of those innards. You just kind of rip it open, run your hand around the top part, and just kind of disconnect everything from the bones. And this is why I say hands-on experience is where you're going to learn the most, because even though you're watching me do this, you don't really know till you know what it feels like. But that's the best way I know how to explain it. Is there a membrane? There's a heart.
Thank you.
And so you just slowly start working the stuff out after you get everything worked loose from the membranes. And there's going to be a tube up in there. You'll feel it eventually that's connected. So what that is what goes to their gizzard. You can tell, I mean, it's connected to their gizzard. You don't want to break that because there's going to be feed and grass and stuff in there. That's also connected to more membranes up in there. Get all that loose. All comes out in one piece. You never break the GI tract. That's your main goal. So then I'm going to come, cut that off. There's no bone here. You shouldn't never be cutting through bone on this part right here. There's an opening. And then you get to the tail and you got to get through that part. But I went right through the joint, and see there, GI tract is still completely intact. So all that comes off. Then you just want to feel inside, scrape your hand in this motion like this along the rib cage up at the top to get the lungs out. They're kind of hard to tell if they're in there, but if the rib cage feels smooth, you still got lungs in there. That was hands-on experience for us to learn that. The first batch of chickens we ever did, like the first 10 or whatever, when we were experimenting, we left the lungs in every one of them and didn't realize it. So. And then you just pull out any little extra pieces you feel. But at the end, you should be able to feel the rib cage. You should be able to stick your hand out the top of it. And like I said, just any other little things you can find in there. I know a lot of people keep the necks and the livers and stuff like that. We don't. I don't care nothing about that stuff.
Yeah, but
I should, but I don't.
Cut them up.
And then you just give it a good rinse with the water hose. And see a few little extra feathers here, but put it in a cooler of ice. We'll let it sit in a cooler of ice for a couple of hours before we bag it up. And that, my friends, is how you dress a turkey. Alright guys, so here we are actually a couple days later. I didn't get to finish the video the day we were processing the turkeys. I had some company come around when I was bagging. I was planning on showing all that, but kind of forgot until after I'd done it that I was going to video it. So anyways, I want to show y'all the finished product and show you a few tips on things if you do process your own poultry. You're going to notice a color difference on these birds, and I'm going to tell you why. So right here are a couple of them. Now the top of the freezer is just rusted. It's an old freezer, but you can see here, I mean, I didn't weigh them, but these were two of the biggest ones, and those will make excellent Thanksgiving turkeys. So I'm going to show you here. So what I do is when I do the meat chickens or when I do the turkeys, I try not to overload my freezer too much. So I'll do like half in the refrigerator and half in the freezer. Bad thing about my refrigerator is it's really old and it tries to freeze stuff occasionally. It don't always do it. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it don't always do it, but it does do it. So with these turkeys, so this one went straight into the deep freezer. Deep freezers are meant to keep stuff frozen, not to necessarily freeze things on demand. So it's a slow freeze when you put something in a deep freezer. But you're gonna notice here, this is the one that was in the top of the refrigerator. Do you see how dark this is? There's nothing wrong with this turkey, but a slow freeze on poultry, if it's a slow freeze, it will cause your meat to look darker once it's frozen. Once this thaws out, you'll never know it looked like that. So it's just a cosmetic thing for when it's frozen. So that's just a little tip for you. If you see that your chickens look like that after they're frozen and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to my chickens? It's just probably because they were frozen very slowly. This one right here is actually pretty frozen to have been in the refrigerator. So, but yeah, guys, this is the finished product. I'm gonna hold it up all the way so you can see how big that is right there.
We could get the scale out real quick and weigh one.
Well, yeah.
It's just right here.
Yeah, we can do that. Do they weigh more if they're frozen?
I don't think so.
And I'm going to show you a close-up of this right here while Andy's getting that out. So you can see that's kind of dark and discolored. That's from the slow freeze where this one was in that refrigerator. But that's okay. Like I said, that's cosmetic. That'll go away once it thaws.
12.08.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. That's a good size for the size families that we have, because these are just for personal Thanksgivings.
That's 12.56.
So that's awesome.
All right, get that back in there.
So anyways, guys, I hope this video has encouraged you today. Hope you learned a little something along the way. We enjoy raising our own Thanksgiving turkeys because, well, of all the reasons. We know what they were fed. We know how they were raised. I've had these turkeys since they were 2 days old. They lived an awesome life. They loved it out in the garden. I was actually really sad to see them go. Turkeys have a lot of personality, but you know, we have to remember why we raised them. So anyways, finished product. Can't wait to dig in on Thanksgiving. If I remember when we get that far, I'll have to show you how I cook ours for one of our family get-togethers. So anyways, guys, hope y'all have a good one, and we'll see you on the next one.